Alright guys, so welcome to episode 2 of my programming vlog. So yeah, we are going to create a new Windows application called Butterbrat 4D, and then I'm going to go straight into its properties and I'm going to change it to a console application. That way I get the window and all the includes needed, and I get to display some debug information in the console. So yeah, that's good. Then I'm going to add a new item class, and we're going to need a point3D. There we go. So yeah, in here we need to hold the X, Y and Z coordinates, so we'll use doubles X, Y and Z, and then we'll create a constructor X equals Y equals Z equals 0. So yeah, we just declare our variables here and then we assign them all as 0, otherwise they don't actually hold any data at all. And then we can have a point3D double X double Y double Z. Okay, so this dot X equals X, this dot Y equals Y, this dot Z equals Z. So that will just, we can then create a new point3D and give it its coordinates, and then they're saved. Now what do we need? Now for the algorithms that we need later on, I'm going to need to find the length. If this was a vector, I'd like to find out its magnitude. Let's try paint. So for those of you that don't understand this, imagine this here is our 0, 0 in 2 dimensions, and then this is point A. So point A's coordinates, there's its X coordinates and there's its Y coordinates. So if we know that, so this is it, say the width and the height. If we take the width squared plus the height squared and then take the square root of it, then we get let's call this L, then we get L. So that's basically how it works. We can work out the length of this line just by knowing its coordinates, and that that can be called the length, the magnitude, the absolute value. So yeah, cancel. So yeah, so I'm going to call it absolute value, and it's going to be double actually, public double, and I'm going to call it abs for short. So I need to return the square root of x times x plus y times y plus z times z. And it's as simple as that. Now sometimes we just need to compare, and this square root function uses a lot of processor time. Sometimes we don't need to use that, so we can make a quick version just for comparisons. So I'm going to call this public double abs and a 2 for squared, and I'm literally going to take just this part and return it. Now if I wanted to, I could replace this here with that and it's going to work, but I'd rather not have a function call when I don't need one. Okay, so now we're going to need something to draw it onto, so I'm going to add a new item, and I'm going to choose a control, which is like a piece of, like a button or a menu or something like that, and this is basically just pretty much going to be a panel. So let's take these out. Okay. Then I'm going to override its paint method. Now this is going to be a very, very crude program, not programmed in the best of ways, but until we get into more detail, I'm going to do things very, very simply. So I'm going to override the on paint method. Don't need that. Then I'm going to take a copy of the graphics, G equals E, which is the paint event arguments, dot graphics. Now that really, I don't really need to do it this way, but just for convenience I like to do it that way. And then we're going to want to know, so that is going to be, that's our basic way of drawing. So when we want to draw something, we draw everything in this on paint method. Now we need a method to draw a line. So public void draw line. Oops, bad habit of putting spaces. So we need the graphics container, we need a point 3D X, A, and a point 3D B. Then we're going to want G draw line. Okay, and we'll fill in the blanks there in a second. So now I'm going to want to know, for my little algorithm, which I'll explain when we come to it, I need to know the distance that point A and point B is from the viewer, from the camera. So I'm going to use it over and over again, so it makes sense to store it once and use it a few times. So let's go double abs A equals A dot abs, like that, and the same for B. B abs equals B dot abs, capital A. Now, let's start drawing the line. So we need a pen. Pens dot, let's go for black. So now, the x coordinate of the first line is going to be based, the first point is going to be based on A. But what I need to do is make some alterations to A to bring it into perspective. So what I need to do is divide its vector by how far away it is from the camera, which is why I've got that absolute value. So I'm going to go A dot x divided by A abs. Oh, abs A, sorry. Let's change this name here a bit. Ab B, so it's just okay. Divided by abs A. Now this is going to give me an error, but we'll sort that out in a minute. Then the same with B. Sorry, with the y coordinate. So A dot y divided by abs A. Then we're going to do the same thing for the B. There we go, change that, change that, change that. Now, this is probably, it's telling me I can't convert a double to int, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's put all these in brackets. Just to make it a bit easier to work with. And then change them all, cast them all as an int. Oops. There we go. So that behaves. Now what I want to do is I want the 0, 0 part to be in the middle of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift everything. So int, this is width over 2, so half the width equals width over 2, and then height over 2 equals height divided by 2, and I'm going to shift these. So the x coordinate needs to be shifted by half the width, so plus W2, and the same on this side. And then the y needs to be shifted like that. Now the only thing to do now is magnify this so that it fills the page, and I'm going to use the page height to determine the scale. So I'm going to multiply all of these by the height. That should do it. Then I'm going to put these, I'm going to bracket these just so that I know for sure, it's not that this is being done properly, and so that I can check it for errors. There we go. So that should be it for drawing a line in 3D on our screen. So now what I want to do is to actually use that and draw a line. So we're going to create 2 points. A equals new point 3D, and we're going to give that x of -1 and a y of 1 and a z. We'll put that at 0 for now. So we're going to create the corners of a square. So point A, point B, point C, and point D. So the next point will be in this, so this point here is in this corner. This point here will be this corner, so it's 1, 1. Then this one's in this corner, so the x is 1 and the y is -1. So x is 1, y is -1, and this, the last one's in this corner, so x is -1 and y is -1. And now we're going to actually draw the lines. So draw line G, comma, so A to B, and let's just do that. Copy 1, 2, 3, 4. So then from B to C, then from C to D, and then from D to A. So let's see how that goes. We might have some errors. Graphics A and B. What's going on? Does not exist. A, B, C, D. Yep. Simple mistake. Apart from that, I think we should be okay now. These need to be public. it's done it there. See, it's auto coding thing. It can be a pain sometimes. Okay, there's two more things to do. First thing is we're going to make these so they are actually in our field of view, because our camera is at 0, 0. So this, we're going to put all the Z's at -2. And then all that's left to do is to go to the design of the main form design, and then tools, then we can add our control on there and duck it to the center like to fill. And when we run, we actually have a square on the screen. Now let's try and prove to ourselves that it is actually in 3D. So what I'm going to do, here we go, is go to the paint method again, and then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to change these to -4. And then draw those on as well. So now we should have two squares, one smaller than the other, because that one's further away, it's smaller. And yeah, obviously I haven't got an update method on here, so you know, like I said, very basic to start with. But yeah, that is the first part of our 3D engine. In fact, that's probably the most important part. So yeah, in the next episode I'm gonna go on about rotations, and we're going to start rotating these points, and we'll get some animation going on. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, or if you found it useful, or you know, you want to give me a bit of encouragement, please leave a like. And if you want to watch more videos, please subscribe. And yeah, I shall see you in episode 3. Bye.